All right, after cranking up our air conditioners during this recent hot weather, and certainly the hot weather is still to come, we're all sure to see a spike in our electric bills in the coming months. Now, other than reducing our usage, one way to lower bills may be choosing an alternative electricity supplier. But how can we be sure if it'll save us money? How do we even understand this entire system? Joining us now to help us with this is David Feldman. He's from Best Power to enlighten us about electricity deregulation, offer some tips to lower our energy consumption. It's nice to have you here, sir, because I really want to talk about this. This is a tough thing to understand. You know, we got used to growing up, many of us did, with certain monopolies out there, the telephone company, the utility company. That's not the case anymore. People have choices in electricity. Do you find that a lot of people are unaware of this, even though it's been this way for years now?
Well, the deregulated marketplace in Connecticut's been active for about 7 years, but yes, it's amazing that there's still a number of people who don't realize the system is there and how it works and how it can truly benefit them.
How does it work? And put it in context of this more recent Bill of Rights, which came out for power consumers.
Sure. There are two portions of your electric bill. There's the cost to deliver the power to your home, and then there's the cost of the power itself. You have the ability to buy your power from any of the suppliers licensed in the state of Connecticut.
And there's a bunch of them.
There are many of them, and not just from the public utility any longer. So if you can shop around, or obviously more choices give you more opportunities to find a better rate for your electricity.
And it's not necessarily more confusing because you're not getting bills from two different places. It's still going to be sort of delivered the way it's always been delivered, but it's going to come from a different supplier. It's still just one bill. What kinds of savings are we talking about?
Well, actually, absolutely nothing changes for the consumer. You don't see any change whatsoever. You're correct. The same bill, same delivery, same service. You call the utility for any issues. The only difference is who you're actually buying your power from.
And how do you go about that little shopping trip right there with, as you said, believe it or not, he told me before we went on that there are in the neighborhood of 30 energy suppliers out there, electricity suppliers. How do you begin this search to find out what's going to be best for you?
Well, there are a number of resources.
Besides your company, I mean.
Obviously, there are a number of resources that you can look into online. The state has a website, energizect.com, that lists all of the suppliers and some of their rate offerings. You can start there with your investigation. But the most important thing is to look into the companies that you're investigating or thinking about enrolling with, and learning about what their practices are, what they do, what their product offerings are, to make sure that you're making an intelligent and well-reasoned decision about who you're getting.
Most important of all, what kinds of savings are we talking about? How much money?
Depending on the time of year, it could be anywhere from 5% up to 10%. And it depends on the type of product that you get into.
Right.
A fixed price product is probably going to save you more over the course of a long-term arrangement. A variable product might save you more in a given month, but can be more expensive than the public utility in another month.
All right, so it's just important to remember that just like with telephone companies now, you have choices out there, but it's up to you, the consumer, to go ahead and make your move on this. And certainly you'll be getting help from calls that you get from telemarketers and lots of mailings as well, letting you know there are choices.
Absolutely. And again, my advice to anybody who gets one of those phone calls or gets something in the mail is to make sure that you don't sign up and enroll right then and there. Do your investigation. Look at what that company's history is. They're required now to publish historical rates so that you know what they've been charging versus what they're offering now. And look around. Not just because somebody called you and said, you have a choice, they're not the only choice.
Not the only choice. Over and above particular suppliers, you've got some other suggestions on how to save money here on your electric bill. Talk us through some of what you have.
Sure. Obviously, one of the ways to save money is cut down on usage. One of the biggest things in the summertime especially that chews up electricity is your air conditioning. Mm-hmm. So you can use one of these programmable thermostats to set different temperatures throughout the day. You don't want to cool the house while you're at work. You also don't want it to get too hot so that you have to crank the air conditioning when you get home. Right. So a programmable thermostat will allow you to set the temperature during the day so that you don't have to use too much power either waste it or crank up
It's
the
actually
electricity
true
when
that
you
if you
get home.
turn it off when you go to work, it actually costs you more when you crank it back up to cool it back down when you get back home.
Yes, because it's
yeah.
running constantly as opposed to intermittently.
All right, what other technology here can we be helpful?
Well, one of the things I always found, my kids were allergic to turning off lights.
My
So
kids have
you
that
can
same condition.
so you can put a sensor in so that automatically the lights will go on and off when people enter or exit a room. That'll help with cutting down electricity. There's a little gasket you can buy at any Home Depot or similar type of store that you can put in your shower head.
Sure.
And it actually slows the flow of water through your shower, so you're not heating as much water to take a shower, and that saves on electricity.
There was certainly a lot of controversy in Congress when the new laws were passed, but the fact is the new LED lights and light bulbs do save considerable amounts of money. They cost more up front, but they save you in the long run.
Yes, they're much more energy efficient, and in the long run, use less energy, therefore saving money.
All right, these are plenty of tips as we get into the hot weather season that people can use to save. I appreciate you so much coming by today.
Thank you.
I know this is going to make people more aware of what their choices are and what they can do today to start driving that electricity bill down.